It is time for the news hour. Let's get right onto it. And we kick starting it off with the said Minister for Foreign Affairs, Henry Okello Oryem, has called on Germany investors to meet all the social responsibilities for better investment processes in Uganda. Speaking to German delegates during the Germany Business Trade and Tourism Conference in Kampala, Oryem says Uganda is ready to provide a conducive business enrollment as the Ugandan Deputy Head of Mission in Germany, Dan Sozi, emphasizes discipline within Ugandans. The emphasis comes after a German delegate was grabbed off his belongings by an unknown person along the streets of Kampala. Don says that such acts scare away investors. Pedison Mombere has more.
I have to emphasize the discipline within Ugandans, otherwise we are going to lose a lot. You cannot see the Bazungus walking on the street and then you start to follow them and start to grab everything that they have. It gives us a very bad picture.
You see, seeing is believing. Seeing is believing. And I'm so glad that most of you had the courage to come to Uganda.
A potential investor considering investing in Uganda will find a highly liberalized economy in which all sectors are open for investment and there is a free movement of capital to and from the country. Efforts have been made to ease investments. Consequently, in the Ugandan Parliament in 1991, they came up with the Uganda Investment Authority, a one-stop center shop for all investors into the country. The mission of the Uganda Investment Authority is to promote and facilitate investment projects, provide serviced land, and advocate for a competitive business environment. Speaking to Germany delegates during the Germany Business Trade and Tourism Conference in Kampala, the State Minister for Foreign Affairs, Henry Okello Oryem, says that Uganda is ready to provide a conducive business environment.
Take it whatever, we will not complain. If at the end of paying taxes, you will tax, what do you take taxes? At the end of justifying local employment, at the end of playing your social responsibility, at the end of it is net profit. In Uganda, if you so choose to repatriate 100% of your profit abroad, we have no quarrel with you. It is your money, you made it, good luck to you. If you want to know more, talk to one Mr. Mbire, he will tell you. Uganda has no restrictions on the percentage that you withhold in this country, like other countries. You make your money, you take it to whatever it is. If you decide to carry it through the airport in a briefcase, so be it. But if you're arrested the other side, don't make noise.
Uganda has been able to be a political stabilizing force in the region, which has provided a secure environment for private business to thrive. Security of investment is also guaranteed under the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda and the Investment Code 1991. However, the Ugandan Deputy Head of Mission in Germany, Dan Sozi, emphasized discipline within Ugandans. The emphasis comes after a German delegate was grabbed off his belongings by an unknown person along the streets of Kampala. Dan says that such acts scares away investors.
We don't know, but that investor loves Uganda so much. We hope he will go ahead putting his money here in Uganda. Otherwise, it's very, very frustrating. And we are just trying to encourage him that something happens once in a million times, you know. So I hope he will bring his money.
It is a relationship between partners. On the one side, Germany has been supporting Uganda's development for decades, currently above all in the areas of rural development, electricity, energy and governance, but in many other areas as well. The cooperation of the University Hospital Leipzig and the Kirudu Hospital here in Kampala is a wonderful example from the health sector. Probably the best and most promising examples are the economic ties, the involvement of the private sector.
Can be issued by local authorities.
Those difficult questions, don't go live here without asking those difficult questions that will make you finally comfortable work business here. Can this be done? Can this be done? Can this be done? What am I supposed to do? How much tax am I supposed to pay? What kind of tax am I supposed to pay? Ask all those questions so that you live here with no doubt in your mind.
Now, starting with the income tax exemptions, there is a 10-year income tax exemption for all investors who meet this simple criteria. The first criteria is that for any investor who is interested in developing an industrial park or a free zone with a minimum capital,
there is free movement of capital in and outside Uganda after paying the tax. Then security for investment is guaranteed by the Constitution, the mother law of Uganda.
Opportunities that investors can take on in Uganda also include commercial farming and value addition, as well as the manufacture of inputs such as fertilizers and pesticides. Bedson Mumbere, Smart 24.
And a potential investor considering investing in Uganda will find a highly liberalized economy in which all sectors are open for investment, and there is a free movement of capital to and from the country, which means there is room for investment, varsity room for investment in Uganda. And on top of that, the security that is supporting it. And that is where the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, or Honorable William, says, you see, the Minister of Foreign Affairs is actually calling on the investors that there is room for Uganda and the security is safe. However, the other key highlights were that Ugandans should actually check on their discipline. We need to give room for these investors, and they would definitely come in here to provide employment opportunities for our young people and the unemployed Ugandans as well. Moving on, the Minister of State for ICT and National Guidance, Joyce Nabosa Sebugwao, has issued a directive to National Information and Technology Authority, NITA Uganda, to reduce the cost of internet consumed by business processing, outsourcing and innovation companies. She announced the directive at the launch of the Business Processing Outsourcing of the Business Processing Outsourcing and Innovation Council at the ministry head offices in Kampala. The details.
I congratulate you. Thank you so much for accepting to be the chairman of the council. May God bless you. The Uganda ICT sector is one of the most competitive and the fastest growing sectors in the country. ICT services alone contribute 2.5% of Uganda's GDP. And this is growing each year. We need this to translate into more jobs for our young people. BPO and innovation sector, I direct as follows. 1, reduction of cost of internet. The National Information Technology Authority Uganda, NITA-U, is directed to reduce the cost of internet and the BPO and innovation companies consume. Currently, BPOs purchase 1 unit of internet that is called MBs at $35. This should be reduced to $25. Dr. Zawid.
The Honorable Minister's speech, she said this reduction should take effect as soon as possible. And as soon as possible means that we are going to, as the PS and the team at the ministry concerned, we are looking into all the options that we have to consider to reduce this cost, and we don't want to go beyond next year. So the answer is we cannot be later than the beginning of next year, but we're going to make sure that we do it sooner than later. We won't go beyond January 2022. On whether it is internet across the board, private or government internet, the statement, I think, was clear. We are offering incentives of reduction to BPO companies that have been established, and these are the ones that we offer government connectivity by government. Government has a national backbone infrastructure that provides internet, and we have control over that and what it costs. So we are going to consider the cost of internet for government to these entities. But we know that the trend is, if government puts its costs down, the private sector also plays along or takes the same trend. So eventually, the cost will come down relatively lower compared to what we have now, even with the private sector.
Directive is to see that the cost of internet consumed by the business processing, outsourcing and innovation companies is reduced, and we do hope it will be so. Lastly, from our news hour, civil society organizations have requested the Bank of Uganda to show how it intends to use 490 million US dollars, which is 1.7 trillion shillings, obtained from the International Monetary Fund under the special drawing rights. Speaking at a dialogue in Kampala, Jen Alunga, the Siatini executive director, says that the decision on how the funds will be used is too important to be met without the public input. The details.
Under the special drawing rights, which is a form of unconditional financing to International Monetary Fund member states, Uganda was availed with 1.7 trillion Ugandan shillings to finance COVID-19 responses and economic recovery. Speaking at the same event, Penny Nambabazi, an aid and debt expert, says that the proper use and consequent accountability has been left solely to the Central Bank and the Finance Ministry, with limited involvement of Parliament, civil society and the media. She said puts money under special drawing rights at the risk of being used for debt repayment rather than being used to support economic recovery. However, Bank of Uganda Director Research Adam Mugume dismissed the claim that the central bank had, through various media platforms, explained the role of special drawing rights, saying government was at liberty to use the money as it deems fit. One way to use the special drawing right allocations, Dr. Mugume said, was to build buffers for unseen eventualities rather than spend it now. During the meeting, 7 MPs led by Silas Agon, the Kumi Municipality MP, expressed ignorancy of any allocation done under special drawing rights. This is the second time in over a decade Uganda has been granted permissions by the International Monetary Fund to access money under the special drawing rights to, among others, deal with emergencies as well as support economic recovery. Julius Kapwepwe, a debt analyst, said there was need for government to present a comprehensive COVID-19 recovery plan for the short and medium term, capturing how funds under the special drawing rights will be used.
And away from that, as we are winding up with our news hour, in terms of under the special drawing rights, which is a form of unconditional financing to the International Monetary Fund member states, Uganda was availed with 1.7 trillion Ugandan shillings to finance COVID-19 responses and economic recovery, out of which the civil society organizations want the Bank of Uganda to show how it is going to use this money. I'm Jerome Paul Sonko, and this is the News Hour. After the break, I return with a discussion and a conversation about youth innovation, youth development, and more about the youth participation in the domestic revenue collection and mobilization in Uganda. Keep it SMB.
Smart 24, driving business.